Hello and welcome to my presentation on People Just Do Nothing Research by Kelly Davies. About the television programme. People Just Do Nothing is a BBC television sitcom that was first broadcasted in the United Kingdom by BBC Three on the 20th of July 2014. Created, written and performed by Alan Mulfaster, Steve Stamp, Isman Chowdhury and Hugo Chegwin. The programme follows the lives of MC Grider and DJ Beats, who run Corrupt FM, a private radio station broadcasting garage and drum and bass from Brentford in West London. This mockumentary started with BBC in 2014 and is still being aired today. My pitch to you is to make the TV show People Just Do Nothing a film. For a while now, TV shows have been created into films and have benefited companies in the process. What are research methods? Research methods are the way markets and companies collect information and data needed to make a production successful. The data collected then can be used to critique, praise, and then correct the project or product or production in progress. Their different types of research methods are divided into two categories: primary and secondary research. Primary research conducted and collected by yourself, also known as first-hand research. Some examples of primary research are questionnaires, interviews, and observations. Secondary research is already existing research. The best example of secondary research would be official statistics, articles, research published through the media and internet. How is research methods important to this pitch? Research methods are important to this project so that we know everything about the show, the audience, and how well the show is doing in all of the eyes of the public and how it's benefiting BBC Studios. Primary and secondary research. There are advantages and disadvantages to both categories, and using this information you can decide which would be the best to use for the company and their production. In the case, this would be for the production of People Just Do Nothing. Primary research advantages is that they are reliable, valid and easy to collect. The research disadvantage is time-consuming, costly, and depending on the amount of research you do will have an impact on the result. For example, doing target research for the show People Just Do Nothing, and you do the research in London, and say you cover a quarter of the population and only get half the results back, that then means you only have a small amount of research to go off. Not only that, you have lost money on the research due to the lack of participants. Secondary advantages cost a lot. Accessible. It takes a long time to collect, like primary research. Secondary disadvantages: unreliable. Don't know if the research results are valid and the research methods are performed correctly. The research methods may not be specific to the topic or task. Another issue you would be facing is data inaccuracy. When collecting secondary data, you assume that primary research has been done before, but sometimes that is not the case. They have only used secondary research as well as you. A good example of secondary research is that I conducted using the website called YouGov, that I found about the type of target audience the show The People Just Do Nothing attract. I found the type of people this show attracts, and it is young male adults who support left-wing politics. This website also gave me many other details about the sort of people that would be interested in, such as hobbies and celebrity interests. Reliability. I find this website to be reliable because it acts as a polling station online about any political issue, entertainment or any other topic that can be rated or an opinion can be placed on it. We can see what other people think of topics that matter, and we can see what people really think about the show. From the results that I just got up from the website, I could see what people really think about the show, and from what I can see is there is more negative reactions than there is positive reactions to the show. This may be because this is a television show and young teenagers and young adults don't really watch television anymore, so the results may possibly be by older people, which the show's not really aimed at. So the results are not valid to us as much as it gives us perspective of our target audience and who watches the channel. It does possibly mean the results are biased and have generated by negative results that have came in from the one side of the participants. Validity applies to both the design and the methods of your research. Validity in the data collection means that your results truly represent the subject or hypothesis. In order for your research to be of value to you when all your data is collected, you need to make sure that the researchers and the research methods have all been performed in the same conditions and the same way. This is to make sure there's nothing that can change the results drastically due to a slight change in performance. Apply to the pitch. The best research method that I decided to use was secondary research, official statistics, and the internet. I found it to be more useful and effective as it is time and cost effective. This was best for me as I am working on a low budget. I feel this is valid as the television program has already been created and will give me all the information I already need. So therefore the best secondary research method to use is internet and official statistics collected about the show. The idea. I propose making a film about people just do nothing in order to bring in more publicity to the series. This will help the series rating and views go up. If we compare the television ratings of past films that have been created from a television series, we can see the rating will normally go up by 20%. There are many examples to be given that will prove the fact about television industry and television series that can either be inspired by films or for films to be created or even be made to benefit the TV series. And majority of the time it will be the benefit factor. Comparison 1, 21 Jump Street, the television series. The television series was created in 1987 and then ended in 1991. This was one of the most popular TV series on television in the late 80s and still has a rating on IMDb of 8.4 out of 10, being rated by 40 users and 10 were critics. The film was created in 2012 and was considered to be one of the 2012's best action/comedies. This was rated at 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb and was rated at 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. As much as this was lower than the TV series, it was not really much difference between the series and the film. Also, I think it's safe to assume the film brought more money recognition towards the television series, and considering the time gap between the series and the film, the results are great that they can live up to the series. I would say that it's safe assumption because from the time gap, not all people who have seen the film probably haven't seen the television series. Comparison 2, Starsky and Hutch television series program. The television series was made in 1975 and ended in 1979, and this was also a popular crime drama in the 70s. This has a rating of 7 out of 10 on IMDb. The film of Starsky and Hutch was created in 2004. The rating for the film was 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and then got a rating of 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. So the comparison was the same as comparison 1. People feel that this didn't live up to the potential, was not as good as the series. However, it was a great film, and with comments like that, I can only assume people would advise watching the TV series for those who never watched the series before they watched the film, and I believe that they would have gave it a good mark overall. Final comparison, the A-Team television program. The television series was made in 1983 and ended in 1987. The series was rated at 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb and was reviewed by 96 users and 24 of them were critics. The film was made in 2010 and the film was rated at 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb and was rated at 46% positive on Rotten Tomatoes. The comparison of the results are the same from comparison 1 and 2. We can see the films aren't as great as the series from the results we have had. However, the films bring recognition and even draw people to watching the films, then inspire them to watch the TV series. How is this valid to the research and BBC Three? From our results we can see that the films of the TV series do have an effect on the television show, as it will create money for the owners of the names and the studios who own the title. This gives us a pattern to use how an audience would react to films that are created and inspired by television series. It seems people like the same mindset of, I liked it but wasn't as good as the original TV series. We as a studio can find a way to break this pattern, or even work with this pattern to then make our film better or just as good as the TV series. This was important to see, using the right materials and getting a decent budget together for the production. The studio could make thousands of pounds off this. To conclude, the studio would benefit from making the TV series People Just Do Nothing because the studio can get some recognition. This opportunity can then lead into bigger budgets for different shows, and you can even start creating more films with other studios.